Hello and welcome to the second tutorial where we would be learning about variables. Variables are the named memory location inside a computer that can store a value which can be used for computations in the program. Okay, let me explain you. The number 3 is a constant. If you say that there are 3 apples in a basket, everyone knows exactly how many apples they are expecting to see. The number of apples in the basket is 3. But what happens if we add 4th apple to the basket? The number of apples are no longer 3, right? They have changed from 3 to 4. In fact, we can add n number of apples and it will keep on changing. So the basket over here is our variable. Right? So something which is not same and it keeps on changing, it's a variable, as well as we store numbers or strings. In fact, we can store a sentence too inside a variable. Let's take an example. But before that, let me tell you that a variable has 2 parts. First part is the name of the variable itself. Let me take the name of a variable as num. Num equal to 2. So the first part, num, is the name of a variable and I have assigned the value 2 to this number. So now let's do something. Let's quickly print num. So if I print num, what will happen? It will print the value. It's 2. So this was a number. What about if I print something which is decimal? It will print it. Now, let's try printing a string. Let me print my name. And I'll just run it. Have a look. It's printing my name. What if I try to print a whole statement? I'm just taking this variable and assigning the statement that Python is fun to learn. So now this sentence has been stored in the word or in the variable statement, and I can use this again to print. And if I run this again, see, Python is fun to learn. So what do we understand from here? That we can store a sentence, a number, a float value. Float value is just a decimal number, the other word for the decimal. So now let's know a little bit more about variables. So basically, as the name suggests, in fact, the example which I gave you, the value of variables can be changed in future within the same program. That is, the values can vary from time to time according to the programmer's preferences and logic. So right now over here, my name, I have assigned it as Simran, right? So let's say, let me take any another name. Name equal to, let's say, Charlie. So now, all right. So now let's know about the rules of naming a variable. For making a variable, you need to follow few rules. Like you do it in English, you have few rules, right? When you are writing down grammar. Exactly over here. The first thing which you should remember, that is, you cannot start with a number. Like you cannot write down 1 num equal to something. This is completely wrong. This will give you a syntax error. After this, you should remember that you can definitely start a name of a variable either with a letter or with the underscore character. So if you give an underscore over here, now this is perfectly well and fine, because now this starts with an underscore, and it's a rule that you can start the name of a variable with the underscore. After this, you can also do one more thing, that is, you can write something like this: num1 is equal to this. That means you can, instead of writing it in the front, you can use anywhere in the middle. Like you could literally use something like this, which doesn't completely make sense, but it's not wrong. Now, the next thing which you should know, that is, these are case sensitive. If you write a capital A equal to some number and a small a equal to some number, they both are completely different. That means Python is case sensitive. Now, one more thing which I would like to mention over here about the rule of the variable, that is, you cannot use any spaces. What do I mean by that? You cannot write down something like num1 is equal to 63. Instead, if you give an underscore in between this looks much more better and it's not an error. That means num1 is equal to 63. This has a underscore in it. Mostly people use underscore to separate words to make it look better. Now, there are many more things which you should know if you want to be a good programmer. It's a good practice if you write down a better name or a meaningful name, so that if someone else looks at your code, they can understand that what exactly you want to do. Let's say if you are finding out the average of 5 numbers, what would be the variable name that you would think of? The best name which you could think of is the word average itself, or with that you can add one more thing, that is average 5 subject. This is a really good name. So you should practice like this whenever you are writing down the names of the variables. That's it in this video. Let's meet in the next video and know about the data types.